Leading up to the trip, would you say you were nervous then?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. In a good way, but there's so many unknowns and there was a lot to figure out. There was a lot in place, but I think just in terms of like the lead up to the trip, I was definitely nervous, but I think that's a good thing. I think it would be a problem if I wasn't, because it would probably sort of signify that I was being too kind of casual about the whole affair. So yeah, I was definitely nervous.
I think it's just a lap out, is it?
It's about half an hour to 45 minutes roughly, and we drive through the city. It's all very small streets, many cars, many pedestrians. I think it's first time for all of you. I'm sure you're gonna have a good time.
That first coach ride, I immediately just fell in love with the city. It was everything's so colourful, wires everywhere. It's just chaos, but it somehow all makes sense.
Yeah, the first bus ride, I remember that because my bag was on top, and I was like, oh god, that's not safe. What's gonna, obviously I didn't know Nepal what it is. Once you've been there a couple of weeks, you know that that's just how they do things.
Yeah, I don't know if I was high on emotions. I think I was just maybe a bit hyper on stress levels in terms of trying to figure out, it's very different when there's 20 people that you're supposed to be looking after.
I guess my first impression was just the noise of it all. Everything was so vibrant.
It's just not safe.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't seem to make sense because it all works somehow, but you look at it and you're like, people should be dying here every 2 minutes.
When we arrived at the International Club, I was shocked. I thought we were going to be staying in a youth hostel kind of vibe, like when you go on a residential.
Bit of a shock. It was because it was like this narrow street we were driving down, and then suddenly this tiny little alleyway, and you turn in this massive courtyard.
So, what's the is there a breakfast sort of thing? Is there food and coffee and stuff?
Yeah, mornings, or tea or something. So, last time.
like quite a nice building from the outside. So I think everyone was pleasantly surprised by that. But when we got to the rooms and saw that it was just mats on the floor.
A dusty floor.
A dusty floor. And it was quite a small room, cramped room. There was hot.
Boiling.
One shower. I think
Cold
it was
shower.
like, this is the reality now. Like, there'd been such a big build up to a trip, and to actually be there.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
One of my favourite places in Kathmandu has got to be Tamil. Just the kind of the whole shopping area and the close, tightly knit streets, the busyness of the people.
This main road area, try not, I'm going to say don't go down that street. Yeah, so the one behind us, the where we're going, yeah. Only on the street that we've walked on, yeah. And that's just because the time frame is tight. I trust you lot, but what I don't want to have to do is then go searching off to try and find people, so that's what will happen. So I'm going to say, ask you not to go.
I think Tamil for the first time was just super busy. Like you were like crossing the roads and just getting lost and people approaching you trying to sell you stuff. But I do feel like you get used to it really quickly and it's so weird how fast that becomes normal.
I've got a 500 wooden ticket, just 5 minutes delivery. But for you, okay.
Actually, this service is 95% Nepali customer, you know. Then we must put the price. Market, tourist and Nepali, the price is quite different. But for me, it's equal. Human, huh?
Still liberating.
Also, you don't have a lot of money. Then also, you know, is carefully market is the price is sometimes is up and down. Here is easy. Nepali tourist same.
Do you know anywhere in Tamil that does henna?
For what?
Henna.
Hana?
Yeah. Do you know anywhere in Tamil?
Hana means I don't know what is it.
On your hands.
Yeah, henna.
Henna, yeah.
सही में खाली पूछ एक बार है ना एक बार आएर
I think there was a sense of organised chaos in Tamil. Everything was spontaneous and random, but it all worked. And you know, even the motorbikes, motorcycles and cars going through the tiny alleyways. It all worked. It was chaos, but it all worked, and everyone got where they needed to be.
What's that big sign outside the window? I was after that. I quite like that. The building's so beautiful. So I'm not really
It's like a travel thing, isn't it? No, it's just a guy. I like that.
Just a random guy just climbing across the road and going back so fast.
Well, getting on a bus in Kathmandu just to do a local journey, yeah, it will be multicoloured, it will be in a bad state of repair, the tyres will be bald, there'll be tassels everywhere, ripped seats, possibly kind of slightly tinted windows, so you're going into this dark, humid kind of environment to try and squash yourself into the seats. But it's great.
we always had a funky guy. He always had like some kind of Bob Marley poster and some animals dancing at the front. And they were the friendliest people. They were all like, whenever you got on, biggest smiles I've ever seen. And no seatbelt, tiny chairs, usually a bunch of bugs everywhere. But, you know, I remember always looking through those windows and just seeing like the streets. I loved it so much. The only thing that worried me about those buses was the fact that every single one of them started steaming at one point, smoking. I don't really know what was happening. Usually the gear stick. I just ignored it.
Excuse me.
Yeah. It was my first time, bar the international club, that we'd had a welcoming, and we had a bunch of flowers. We had the bindi, I think it was called, on the head, and it was a little bit weird. I think I wasn't used to it. It felt a bit like a lot on my second day in Nepal, and it felt a bit weird that we weren't going back.
I think, yeah, it was weird that we went to the NEPAL school only once. I think we should have gone more. But I think, I don't know, we stayed for literally 10 minutes, and I didn't like that because I felt like we just kind of arrived and watched them do their assembly and then we left, which I didn't feel like it was too weird.
We're going to tell you a little bit about this area. So just step forward a little bit, you'll see a bit more. Back in the year 2000 was the very first trip we ran to Nepal. And this is one of the several schools we decided we were going to help in. Was here. We're going to go down to the village of Kokna, which is a very poor village where the Newari people live. It's a very caste-dominated society, Nepal, and the lowest caste live in these villages of Bungamati and Kokna, where they draw the children for the Peace Garden School from. So they're very, very low caste, and they regard themselves as lowly too. One of the difficulties in Nepal is convincing these people that they've got an awful lot to offer. It's improving, I think, but they do put themselves down because they are felt that they are the lowest of the low. We go down to the village, and then we'll walk down through the fields and across the most smelly rancid river into the leprosy colony, where we'll meet Bikash and Jyoti. You'll love them, and they will show you around. I'm going to shut up now and let Steve tell you a little bit about this thing here.
So this is known by us as the goat pond.
I do remember the goat pond.
And actually it's looking in far better nick now than I remember it. And it's called a goat pond because something happens here once a year, still I think, whereby the young males of the village, they have their hands tied behind their back and they stand round the outside and they chuck a goat in there, and the object is for the young men to go and kill the goat. And they kill the goat by jumping into the water and with their teeth around the goat's throat, drowning it. And only if you could do that are you a true man. Well, apparently that's...
I mean, I remember hearing about it, and then I remember all the boys being like, oh, I would do that, I would win. Oh.
Everyone was saying that I wouldn't win at the goat pond, but I definitely would. I'd kill that goat with my teeth.
I could do that easy. Yeah. No. Get a goat with my neck with my hands and legs tied together from a pond.
There were a few saying that I wouldn't. Who was saying it? Yeah, everyone was chatting.
Okay, so we're going to follow me down that way. All right. Another go. Just turn.
How are your energy levels? Pretty good. I'm feeling
We were saying, no, I kind of had like an internal conversation. I forgot. No.
Yeah. And the
colony, and what interesting factor over this colony is this is the only one rehabilitation center for the leprosy affected people in the whole over the Nepal. In Nepal we do have 14 zones and 77 districts. From all of the district, people around all over the Nepal, they found a place for the rehabilitation center, as a rehabilitation center, as they affected from the leprosy disease. They are isolated from the society, from their near ones, dear ones, because people of the Nepal, almost more than a half are still uneducated, and they believe that they had done some wrong thing in their previous life, so as a curse they got leprosy. In such a way, lots of the people still do believe it's like a superstitious belief. Still they are living in such a way. So when they get treatment in the hospital, no more bacteria were present in their body, but the disfiguration didn't get improved. After that, they come to know about the colony, and they come to the colony in such a way.
Yeah, so that was strange because no one expected it. We rock up at the school and all of a sudden you just see kids lining the street. And you're walking along, you're like, this isn't for us, is it? It was carnage, it was nuts. That was a really nice experience, but it did feel, it was a bit weird at the same time.
I mean, it was so nice, but it was so, like, I just felt like I didn't deserve it. I was like, I've literally only just met them, and they're already just like so welcoming, just like
they're all so smiley and happy, and they all have the flowers, and they're like, please take my flowers.
When we walked into the school and they had all the flowers lined up on the side, I was like, oh, this is really sweet, and the kids were really cute, and I did enjoy it. And then we sat down at the front and I thought, oh, this is weird, they're all kind of watching us like we're on display a bit.
Okay, I've sorted mine now. Mine's all in a bubble.
Is it first?
Definitely thought they were more well behaved than what we're like here. And they obviously were keen to be in school and keen to learn, especially as it was their holiday that they were in school for. So yeah, that was definitely not what I was expecting. And then the march, and the dancers, I could never see anyone here doing anything like that if someone came over from a different country.
I actually felt quite uncomfortable. I felt that I had a sense that we're very privileged people visiting Nepal, and they're putting on a big show for us, and it felt a bit maybe just not quite right.
It was a bit of a mixed feeling. Like, it was just so wonderful to be a part of it, and it was lovely to see everything and to be there. And part of me, I was kicking myself because I'd completely forgotten how much, in particular in some of the kind of Asian countries, ceremony and that kind of order from ceremony is really important, and I knew that from past experiences.
From our school children, so they are coming, and please you enjoy their dance, please.
I think when you understand that is their culture, and it's not just because we're special, I think they do that for a lot of people. Anyone coming to the school will get that welcome, and I think it's really nice. I loved the dances.
मखमल गालों वाली मस्त ख्यालों वाली चंचल चालों वाली छुपा छुपी खेलने लगी कंचन काची कोरी नटखट नामी छोरी जबरन जोरा जोरी छुपा छुपी खेलने लगी ओ केटी को बर्फ बदन है केटी को
Thank you very much for your wonderful dances. So, thank you all the dancers. How is the dance? Do you enjoy the dance?
But then I guess when we went to the school and maybe had those moments where we actually could say hello to them, I think that kind of broke that discomfort a bit, because you could actually engage with them as human to human.
Shut the door, please. We'll turn the lights off. Make sure that this is proper
I think before we started the teaching, I think people were pretty shattered. We got back from Trek. The teaching days had all been swapped around because of the Nepali New Year as well. So we'd planned to have a day after the Trek where we could rest, maybe go and do some sightseeing and things like that. But that was one of the many things that we had to reorganise whilst we were out there that maybe were less seen by students and co. So I think getting into the teaching on the day after the Trek, I think that was a tough call, but it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise.
To be honest, the first day of teaching, I was so scared because I'd never taught before and I'm not exactly like a public speaker, and I was so scared all the kids were going to be like, I don't know, judging me or something.
Yeah, because on the coach and the way I was bricking it a bit, I was nervous. But I was trying to rationalise it in my head. I was like, oh, they're only like, how old were they?
Like 9 or 10.
10-year-olds. It's fine. They'll
we both thought, they'll be really excited,
really excited
and
about
enthusiastic.
And then we're going to let's draw them their face with a big smile. Yeah, I'm not going to say it like that.
So I was feeling quite prepared. Like we spent a lot of time deciding on what we were going to do, but there's always that nervousness as you walk in, because something could easily go wrong. You don't really know what it's going to be like. You don't, because we were with the younger kids as well. We didn't really know how much English they knew, if the teacher would be in there to help us.
Will they like me? Will it all work? Will they be going through all my stuff really quickly, or will we just never finish any of it? But when you get in there, it just clicks and it works really well.
Pashupatinath temple is the temple related with the Hindu religion. However, Bodhanath Stupa is related with Buddhist. Okay? So let me tell you something about our beautiful country Nepal. So Nepal is a multi-ethnic, multicultural, multilingual, multi-religious and multi-diversity. Are cremated over there, so it's something new for you guys because you've never have been seen, I think, such kind of things in UK. So there is a graveyard and other kinds of things. But here in Nepal, so it is mandatory for them if they are practicing Hindu religion, they come here and it's their last wish, and so that they can get born in their next birth as a human. So since it is said, that's why I'm saying something. So there is another place now, the body can be cremated just within 1 hour, but that is electric cremation machine. But people don't want to cremate without missing the rituals.
Personally, I suppose there's two guys. There's person and then there's in charge of the group. Personally, like, cremation is one way of people, I suppose, celebrating death in a way and having that relationship with death. So that's fine. I personally felt a bit out of place because I felt like a tourist going to see someone having their last rites with their family members, and I don't think I'd put enough thought into that before going to that temple. I think it's something that students have been to in the past. It's we would class it as a good, holistic experience of understanding culture and place. But there are certain parts of culture where, especially around death, where I don't feel comfortable as a tourist, and we were tourists.
It was so positive because we got to see so much, but also there was definitely that underlying feeling of, what am I doing here?
It's like a staff, isn't it?
Yes, like a fork sign. That is called Trishul. Legends, but I will tell you. So Pashupatinath. So Pasu, it is the translation of animal. Animal means Pasu. So Pati means the master. So Nath means the master of all the human beings of all the universe. So Lord Shiva is also known as the master of all the human beings of the universe. this mandala, and you can Hello. हजुर अहिले एक टाइम त्यो बसिरहेको भए हुन्थ्यो अब एकछिन लाग्छ अब धेरै टाइम लाग्दैन अब एकछिन लाग्छ म यहाँ घुमाउँदैछु यहाँ
It's kind of crazy because when you're in your school and it's so different to their school, and just kind of picturing that they will, you know, be doing completely different stuff to you. And when we were there, they were, you know, amazed that we'd been on a plane and kind of travelled to a different country, and they were saying like that they would never be able to do that. It's just kind of, you forget sometimes how lucky we are, and I think that's been the biggest thing, just kind of realising how big the world is and how, you know, there's some people that don't get the same chances.
Some says shoulders, some says knees, some says 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was the day we first went to the Peace Garden School, and we were just kind of chatting with the kids, and we got talking about football, as you do. One of them, I think it was the captain of the school, brought up the idea of having a match. So I mentioned it to Watchmen.
The international friendly Birkdale versus Peace Garden football game was just I think it was just on a whim. I think it was just good fun.
We should get a team photo before we start as well.
Is anyone kind of defensive? Or
it's just attack, it's just full attack.
And I think that's the value of sport as well. You don't need language, you don't need any of that we all struggle over. It's like, all right, well, there's a ball, let's go kick it around. So I think there was no planning involved in it. It was nothing like that. It was just like, this could be really good fun, let's do it.
I don't even know if we won or not. No, we didn't. We lost, obviously.
Did we lose?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really embarrassing.
No, they were like a proper team.
Yeah, they
and
were
we
really
just
good.
people.
We were dealing with difficult conditions, very high temperatures, in air so humid that we were barely breathing, you know. On the day, I'm not ashamed of our performance, and I don't think the scoreline indicates the praise that we deserve for that match.
Oh my god.
I think it was
The
like
football game.
13 to...
We could have beat them. If we had like the proper Birkdale team, we could have absolutely destroyed them.
Was it like 13 to 7 or something?
I don't know, we were close, we should have beaten them.
Go on, Watchman, go it alone! Go it alone!
yeah, it doesn't matter about the score. It's just good fun to be out there. I'm not sure George would appreciate that though. I think George wanted to win. Be all right. Raise a hand if you want to go inside. I'm going to go inside, but there's options to stay outside.
Question: yes, they have used the foundational things in such a way that, let's say, it will register earthquake up to certain measuring.
But they haven't changed the
structure.
Ground
Yes, yes. We have many things to explore, so let's go. So this is another courtyard. So courtyard means the square means you can see the square shape. So more than 132 squares. So the water spouts are generally made of stone. You can see the architecture here.
You just, everyone else be quiet, we just listen to...
We're doing a press.
Darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years.
Anyway, first of all, Jojalpa. Jojalpa means namaste and welcome. And it is my mother tongue, mother language. It's Newari. Once again, Jojalpa, namaste and welcome to our school. And you know, you people, it's the second day of Nepali New Year 2018. So on behalf of Happy New Year, I am very happy to extend my lovely felicitation to you all. Happy New Year once again.
Happy New Year. I think it's my job just to say thank you so much. It's been absolutely lovely to be here and we've really enjoyed ourselves. So coming here with the students, and I know there's been a big gap, but one of the most special parts about our trip in Nepal has just been being in your classrooms, teaching with you, playing lots of games, and enjoying our time with the students who are really excited and really good fun. So I'd just like to say on behalf of all of us, I'd like to say thank you very much for allowing us to come here and teach with you. Thank you.
I had heard about the airport. I think Simon had told us a little bit about what to expect and that, I mean, statistically, that it was potentially dangerous. That kind of thing doesn't put me off.
So the flight into the Trek and the airports was, I think that was one of my, I think I really enjoyed that. There's lots of sort of scare warnings about it, and there will be about lots of other airports as well, but I think after, like in retrospect, I don't feel it was anywhere near as dangerous as the way in which people and media portrays it.
This happened at the Lukla airport in Nepal. Now the incident occurred as the plane skid off the runway while preparing to take off and hit helicopters that were parked at the helipad. A co-pilot of the plane and 2 police officials were killed in the tragedy. Lukla airport, also known as Tenzin Hillary Airport, is considered one of the most difficult and dangerous airports in the world. It's a short runway of just 527 meters as well as challenging terrain.
The planes has been what I was dreading the whole of the trip. Nothing else had bothered me in like the lead up for it. I was fine with everything else, the trek, everything, no worries about that, except for planes. I hate planes anyway. The flight from Manchester to Qatar, that was stressful enough.
I'd heard that the airport was very dangerous from people who like showing us videos before we left of the plane crashes. So I knew it was quite dangerous. But I don't think I was that scared for it. I think I was more excited to see what it'd be like.
Approaching Lukla, and you can see the landing strip from quite a way away, and it's small and it's steep and it's nestled in the mountains, and and that's when the nerves start to kick in a little bit.
It was when we were arriving at Lukla and you're flying, and then all of a sudden you land. But you couldn't see the runway before you land. You think, oh, we've still got like maybe a few more minutes left. And then you just suddenly hit the floor and you're like, what the heck just happened?
That's one of my standout moments, kind of arriving at Lukla, and you climb out of the plane at the end of the runway, and right there in front of you is a 6,000 metre mountain, and you just can't believe it. It doesn't seem quite real. And I remember getting one of the officials blowing their whistle at me and telling me to get off the runway, because I was just stood there kind of like just trying to take it all in.
You get out and you breathe in the fresh air compared to what Kathmandu is like, because Kathmandu is so dusty that you kind of breathing in dust all the time, so it's just nice to get out and just like actually smell something other than dust and cars and people.
We're ready to start our trek. Our backpack is mine is down there, and then your luggage is already put. They started already. So then we are gonna start now. And so for today it's 4 hours from here to parking. There is name of the hotel is Sherpa Hotel. We're gonna stay tonight there.
So Mungal was our chief guide, one of the Sherpa teams, and he was in charge of the trek. So he would explain to us each day what the day's trek involved, and he would review the day at the end. And hugely knowledgeable guy about Nepal and the mountains, and yet every night and every morning would come and serve us our meal. So very humble too. He was a good guy.
So the guides that we worked with, they worked for Nepal Sanctuary Treks, and there's 3 of them. The lead guide, Mungal, was the one with best English, I suppose, and he was in charge overall. And then there was Arjun and Reese Kuma as well. And I think they were all really experienced guides. They'd been on that route before. And they were just, there was some good qualities about them.
Helpful, enthusiastic, they're motivational, they're experienced, and I'm sure at times, yeah, it's not easy for them, I don't think, at times, but they all are so helpful, so kind, so driven, and they have got such a good life force about them. Yeah, great people to be around, very calming, something that we could all take a note from.
They were very efficient as well. They must have been working their socks off behind the scenes to the simple things like they would be calling ahead to places so that when we arrived somewhere for lunch, it was minutes before it was brought out. They were constantly on the go in the background, and I think we all felt that and realised that.
So, they've got that something. Thank you. Why did it get so shady? Right, there's the phones in the back there.
I've got that
Oh yeah. You don't want to climb it. You don't want to meet a cow as you're halfway across the thing.
No, that's 6,000. And 6,000. I feel like my camera's too flat. I don't know how to change it.
Can you stop again?
Yeah, so Simon, everyone is here. So anyone, and guys, they have a drone or what type of camera, they keep it here, they need to know.
I don't believe it. You've got a camera. Mungo, can we have a group photo before we go through, or is it? Oh, amazing. This is it, yeah.
For one thing, it's just like I think it's mainly like looking down from the bridges that I didn't like. But there's also the fact I was like thinking how strong actually are they, and I think when the guy said, "Oh, suspension bridge," I was thinking like wood planks and ropes. But then when I got to them, they were like steel. I'm like, oh, safe. No, but I mean, I think it's mainly just the height aspect. Just looking down, just didn't really appeal to me.
Gotta have the hand on as well.
I can see the bird. Bird? It's making that noise. Oh.
You laugh.
I think we're that red one.
That's huge! Oh my god!
Himalayan grey one.
Oh my god!
That's big. I refuse to believe that's circling as well. Lee, I'm saying 20. I'm saying 20.
Right, guys, we need a little bit of coordination here. Ilana's going to get a timer on, so can you... Where from, Ilana? That top of that peak is about 2,000 more metres. Is that about right? Yeah, how high is that peak? Is it about 6,000?
800.
6,800?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meters. We saw the early in the morning yesterday. Same, but pace is different.
Yeah.
Mountain is same. We saw the different pace yesterday.
Yeah.
And now it's different direction, so there's different.
Wasn't expecting when we actually saw the little kind of tip of it for the first time to be quite so moved, and I think I was. I think when we actually saw it, I was a bit in awe of it.
You don't want to just catch like snippets. You want to sit down, look up, and just see it. And then I was like, oh, where's Everest?
3.9 really, 3.88.
I'm walking along this down is fine. To be honest, Everest is a bit underwhelming when you see it from Namche. When you go up to the Everest viewpoint, you're like, oh.
It was like
to
a
the
tiny
side,
little peak,
a little curved peak
behind some of the mountains anyway. So I guess it was cool to see it.
To be fair, I did prefer Amadablan.
Like there's nothing on it that I can like know the size of. You know what I mean? Like if there was like a little Which one's Everest?
It's the one which looks the least impressive. It's that small one in the middle. Yeah.
It looks like the smallest.
Yeah, it looks like the smallest, just because it's miles away.
So where's that top? Why did you say the boy over there?
highest point you've ever walked overnight?
Struggling quite a lot. Okay, so you need to be drinking your water, and we will need to buy some more. But if you've only had a tiny little bit since this morning, that's not enough.
Reaching Pengboche itself and knowing you're about to go back down was a bit of a shame because you just wanted to keep going. So knowing that you're halfway or over halfway is quite sad. But that climb up to the highest point was really cool. It wasn't as hard, I don't think, as some of the other walks we'd done, and it was more just kind of everyone excited to get to that point. I think we all would have liked to get to base camp, so there was a slight disappointment in that because we had time constraints, but still getting to that highest point, it was an amazing view with Amadablan behind, and it was just really nice to sit there for a bit. But yeah, there was a slight oh, we could have done it, I think, with everyone.
No, Fast and Furious 5 is my favourite film.
Fast and Furious. Yeah, I felt disappointed not going up to the base camp, but at the same time, we'd gone up so high, so I couldn't really feel disappointed.
So yeah, when we did our final little kind of stretch out towards Amadablam, that was exciting to go a little bit higher. Getting to 4,000 metres was a kind of threshold moment, really, just to get that high. Again, I'd say there was a mix of emotions. So it was cool to reach the furthest point and say that's it. That's our kind of turning point, if you like. We're going to start to head back now. There's a little bit of disappointment that we'd not got enough time to go all the way to the base camp. So we didn't make it all the way to Amadablan base camp, but that was a minor thing, really.
See you, boys. Yes.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not really.
You know what, this might be quite nice, because if we've got time this afternoon, you guys can...
I think one of the places where I felt most calm and relaxed and therefore probably enjoyed the place the most was Fortsey, which was, and that's because we're on the homeward trek after that. We were coming down from our high points. We were going back through Namche Bazaar, so we were going back through a comfortable, well-resourced place. So I think for me, that was one of the places where I was able to just simmer down a little bit, and so I probably have fonder memories of it. It was also a wonderful kind of, it was just on this sort of, just on this small ridge line, wasn't it? And you could see down sort of two big valleys. You could still see the big mountains. And yeah, so I found that quite a calming place. My fingers agree.
Went up through, so as you go north in India, you can invariably, the easiest routes link onto the Ganges and
Because when we see what we could see with the mountains and the valleys, it's just, words aren't enough to describe. You say it's beautiful or it's stunning, but it's the feeling that it gives you, like maybe a sense of awe, but to watch someone else who is also a young person go through that, that's special.
You walk down onto like the onto sort of like the riverbed from when it floods. You realise that the sticks are actually trees. And
I mean, every group, no matter where you go for like a long period of time, like 3 weeks, is always going to have its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, there's always going to be the ups and downs of the trek. Some people are going to feel like really. Some people may feel homesick, some people might feel very tired, and then they start to lose their patience a bit. The atmosphere can change. But like, I think as a group we kept it together really well, and I think we like stuck together really well and looked after each other.
Yeah. It was just 3 pure weeks of living, I thought. And I think a big part of that was I just wasn't on my phone.
You know, the world's a big place and there's kind of more important things than like, you know, your geography homework and stuff like that. Like, it's just remembering how kind of the people's lives in Nepal are so different and impacted by huge things like earthquakes and, you know, a lot of poverty, and how maybe the issues that we have maybe aren't as big, and just trying to stress less about them and put it all into perspective.
Don't mind if you rest.
I was surprised how quickly we got down the bits that we got up, if you know what I mean. Because like that took us 2 days or something like that, and we got all the way down from Fortsey to Joe, was it? I can't remember what it was called.
Daniel, Simon, are you good? Yeah? Appreciate Daniel.
The porters on the trek are just hugely impressive people. I mean, we were there with our day sacks, kind of with a headache and struggling to complete the day's walk, or just feeling the effects of being at altitude. And you are passed by these porters with huge kind of loads that they're carrying just on a thin bit of strapping over their head. You know, it's a bit of rope, it's a bit of a section of a sack that they've cut to shape. And that's what they do. They just kind of lash it together, stick it on their back, and they're carrying it on their head. And they're just in a pair of tatty trainers. It kind of doesn't seem to make sense, but they're just acclimatized and used to it and can do it. I don't think it's easy for them, but it's very impressive to see.
I think our porters they seemed very happy to be around us. They had a good relationship with the guides as well, so they'd sit around and they were happy to chat with the guides. You know, they were trying to practice English with us at times. That was great. And I think importantly on the last day, when some of the porters had got ill with altitude sickness, I think it was because, you know, they come from the lowland valleys anyway, so it can affect them. I love the way that our guides essentially kind of told us just stay in one place. So like, right, you just got to stay there. And they switched their priorities quite quickly.
To take care of them. Might be they are sick, so I find a stretcher or something. Hospital is in Lukla, or somewhere where we find the hospital and take everything hospital. Otherwise, we'll catch you in evening time.
Yeah.
So take care. Okay. And then originally we're going to take care of them to find where are they. Yeah.
Hope they're okay.
Okay, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah. How's the lunch?
Everyone needs to roll.
That looks really dangerous.
Yeah, the walk back from the mountains was, I was feeling really quite sad to be leaving.
Yeah, it was sort of sad to leave it behind. It was, you know, lovely as it was to go move on and do the next stage, which was the teaching. There was that sense of, oh, we should have stayed for a bit longer.
Well, I feel most calm in the mountains, so obviously saying bye to that feels sad. I think all endings are difficult in that way. It's like, you know, other good things are coming, but even so, even the little farewells. I mean, you spent how long did you spend? 10 days?
I think we got into a really nice routine as well, as like the tea houses and having a little walk, and it just went really nicely. I think we bonded really well, had some really nice chats in the mountains.
I felt sad because it felt like everything was coming to an end, because you actually form these bonds with these people. Like,
everyone, well done. Indeed, we had done our trip.
I was really sad because the trek for me was like my favourite bit. Being in the mountains, I just loved it so much.
This is the last night, and then, so we would like to thank you very much for all of you. So that was very interesting, enjoyable trip. We're really happy with you.
I was relieved, but then when we were actually there, I was like, oh, it's finished now, because it had been such like a big thing, obviously getting up and doing that every day for 10 days. And then suddenly it just ended. And I was nervous about going back to teach.
Yeah, I think that was the thing.
I was like, oh well, you know, it's quite far away. I've got all the trek to get through, and then the trek was suddenly over.
Yeah.
So our porters, they got from the altitude sickness, and they are feeling better now. After they had treated this afternoon in camp. So luckily, he's improving now.
I thought, oh, the trek's going to be like just intense and long and difficult, and it was, but it was stunning.
It was worth it.
Amazing, and it was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And I didn't want to leave because it was so peaceful and quiet in the mountains, and I just adapted a lot. And the thought of going back to like normal civilized places or just places was just horrible. I didn't want to go.
It was really hard because we were already on an altitude. Altitude makes suffer sometimes.
To go from 9 days of just that, having the best time, and then knowing that we were leaving and we'd never have that experience together again, that was like a really upsetting feeling.
Okay, so that's it. Good night. Subharatri.
Subharatri. Subharatri. Good night. See you in the morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Morning. Good morning.
Saying goodbye to like, especially the guides, felt like it was the end of like a journey because you'd been with them for 10 days. They guided you through a lot. It just felt they looked after you quite a lot through those 10 days. Felt quite strange to not see them again ever, really.
My respect for them was insane. So being able to say goodbye was an opportunity I really appreciated. But at the same time, it was a goodbye. And I didn't want to leave. As much as I was excited to go back to Kathmandu because that was exciting, I didn't want to leave.
Thank you, Sam.
The biggest thing for me was when I got back from Nepal and I realised how much stuff there was going on in our lives at school, with work and everything we do outside of school. Whereas when we were in Nepal, we didn't have to think about any of that.
I know,
It's just taught me to value stuff that I have more, and maybe just not buy as much stuff. Like when you think of, oh, I really want that, and you just like take a step back and you're like, do I actually need this? What's this gonna actually bring to my life? And
I actually, you know, when we were waiting for the bus sometimes, and we went and played football in the front, I kind of miss stuff like that. Like just all the pool times and just like messing around a bit.
When I first got back, I was like, I'm gonna be so much more proactive and not procrastinate and things like that. I think the overriding emotion, like the day after I got back, was just like nostalgia and a bit sad as well, because it's just so different at home, and obviously you've got kind of work to do and stuff like that. It's just not as peaceful. And then also I also think there's an emotion where you're trying to explain how amazing it was and how life-changing it was, but unless you were there, it's really not the same.
Landing back in Manchester afterwards was so jarring. I'd never felt more miserable to be back home, which sounds sad, but I just remember seeing the boring roads with the lack of bustling traffic, the lack of colour. It was grey, it was raining, everything was ordered. I missed the chaos immediately once I got home. Getting on the coach back from the airport of Manchester. And then you think back to these coaches you're on while you're there, and they've got stickers everywhere, and they're playing these 2-hour-long remix mashups of songs. Yeah, I guess just the biggest difference was the liveliness.
That would be a good quiz question. In which capital city is Tribuvan, the airport? If that's how you say it. Trip.
Sanitizer.
I think when you come back from a trip like Nepal, you immediately appreciate all that modern Western society has to offer. So the comforts and the ease. And then you're always aware of how quickly you just acclimatise back into that, which can be quite challenging, because you want to be able to remember what life was like in Nepal perhaps more readily. So I am appreciative of all the modern benefits of living in England, and I try and remember as clearly as I can what the people of Nepal are experiencing.
Village Blues, take 2.
Oh, yeah. Hey, world.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome to the #1 podcast in the world.
This isn't a podcast.
Featuring.
It's an interview.
No, it's a podcast.
How long do you reckon you'll be?
M38.
I thought you chat my nose in that.
Off the girl's father, the biggest goat off the girl's father to marry me.
I spent all my money on cookies.
32.
Whoa.
That was
Oh, definitely. The streets of Nepal are way better than the streets of England. 100%. Because you can just walk across the road, don't even have to look. Because everyone knows what the hell's going on, so it's all good.
I don't know. Like, I don't know about that. Like, crossing the road was sick and all. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good.
No,
but like, I much prefer the fact that over here we can like just cross the road.
I guess it's
safely.
it is safer,
And
yeah.
There's crossings over here.